Is the Bitcoin bull market dead? No, it's not dead. Okay. I know Bitcoin is down. I know it's had a bunch of days down the last few days, but no, the Bitcoin bull market is not dead. No, you're not too late to Bitcoin. Yes, there is time still to buy Bitcoin. People have been very upset the last few days, though. It's been a very chaotic few days for people that are short-term minded. I know that retail is starting to enter the market because they are very mad right now. I've gotten a lot of very negative messages in the last 24 to 48 hours or so, people saying all kinds of things about me, all questioning my character, questioning my understanding of this, saying I'm in an echo chamber, all those things, right? Of course, those people haven't been around for years. They haven't seen the hundreds of videos I've made. They haven't seen the kinds of nuances I've given consistently over the course of years. So I can assure you the pain is very real out there. A lot of people have lost a lot of money because they were emotional, because they were short-term minded. However, for those of you watching, hopefully most of you that are not short-term minded and looking at the big picture, you'll understand this cycle is not over. Bitcoin is not dead. This is something else maybe needs to be said, right? Is that the Bitcoin market cycle is not Bitcoin, right? The Bitcoin market cycle is not going to last indefinitely. Bitcoin is going to last, right? And even if the cycle is dead, even if we have a bear market, that doesn't change anything about Bitcoin. And ultimately, if your confidence in Bitcoin comes down to what does the Bitcoin market cycle do? You don't understand Bitcoin enough. You don't understand the technology enough, and you especially don't understand what Bitcoin is trying to do for our society and for our world. But since most people do only care about price, because that's what most of us, have the short-term mindset of looking at, let's take a look at this chart, a wonderful chart by APSK32, pseudonymous person on Twitter. I like his charts, and I think this is a good one as well. We have the price of Bitcoin for the entire year of 2025 here, overlaid with the three previous cycles for Bitcoin, as well as, of course, the current Bitcoin price cycle over here in red. Now you can see this dip is pretty significant, right? So far this year, we've been ranging sideways like we've been doing, the last 3 months or so, and then we crashed down to the low 80s. In fact, in the high 70s as of last night, which was that was pretty fun to see. I've been saying in many videos over the last few months, plan for Bitcoin going to 140 grand and plan for it going to 70 grand. And well, I definitely thought we were going to 140 before 70, but here we are. So this is why it's so important to have probabilities on both sides of the spectrum, because if you're caught off guard, if you're not prepared, that's where you get to the point where you're emotionally depraved and childish enough to say all kinds of negative, hateful things to people. So the point is, we're actually not down that far, right? Like we could go down to $50,000 per Bitcoin, and historically, we still would have the possibility of having massive upside, right? Like if you zoom out and look at the whole chart, like Bitcoin could totally go down to $50,000 and the cycle remains intact. I know that is not what people want to hear. Everybody's hoping for a bounce. Everybody's hoping it will go up. And frankly, I think it will go up too. I think Bitcoin is overdue for some kind of recovery. I think Bitcoin's going to the moon, right? That's what I think. But of course, there's possibility for more downside. And my larger point here is again, thinking if-then statements. If we go down to 70K, cycle's not over. Even if we go down to 50K, the cycle is not over, right? And I think this can be seen with sentiment too, right? Like we're in the mid $80,000 range. 3 months ago, 6 months ago, $80,000 was euphoric. It was so exciting. And now it is extremely, extremely fearful for people. Like people are terrified right now. People are the most scared they have ever been in the last 5 years or so. In fact, there's some case to be made that there's more fear right now than even in the depths of the bear market with the FTX collapse, right? If you look at Google sentiment, if you look at on-chain sentiment, like it is, for whatever reason, this is like the crash that appeared out of nowhere that's freaking everybody out. But the point is, if Bitcoin does repeat previous cycles, it is very likely it's going to be higher by the end of the year versus now, right? If you look at this chart here by APSK32, there's a cycle peak target in November and December of 2025, right? If that were to happen, we are looking at between a $200,000 to a $290,000 Bitcoin. But there's something else that's really important to mention. This is assuming dollars retain their purchasing power. I believe over the course of the next year or so, there is going to be another quantitative easing event. I believe Trump's going to print more money. I believe that there is going to be more cash injected into the system. I really believe that's going to happen. And so what happens if, similar to a COVID level event, we have another 5%, 10%, 20% more currency units in circulation by the end of the year than we do right now at the beginning of the year, right? You're probably aware of all the chaos from the Oval Office today between Trump and Zelensky, right? There's all kinds of unknowns with the war, unknowns with tariffs, unknowns with everything else. And the most effective way to quell the panic and quell the anger from the population in an event is just print more money. And so the point is, maybe we only hit the lower end of the spectrum here on this chart, right? Maybe we only hit $200,000 per coin. But if we print a bunch of money in nominal terms, maybe the price goes even higher, right? This we're looking at here is in real terms, assuming a dollar keeps purchasing power throughout the year. So point is, $80,000 I do think is cheap. I think it's cheap for the 1 year time horizon. I think it's cheap for the 10-year time horizon, right? And maybe that's the place to end this part of the video, is to remind you of that. It doesn't matter what Bitcoin does this year. It doesn't matter what it does the next 3 years. You got to look forward to the next 10 years, the next 30 years. If you're actually saving this money for your kids and your grandkids, you should be acting like it instead of crying about the price being up or down 5% over the course of this day, week, or month. But unlike Bitcoin, there was something you are going to be late to. There was something in Bitcoin right now that is a fleeting opportunity that is vanishing through your fingertips. It is like time in a time glass sifting through your fingers, never to be seen again. And that is opportunity cost. The opportunity cost of making friends. I was talking to someone this morning about how they're paranoid about making Bitcoin friends online. And I agree. The best place to make Bitcoin friends is in person. And so the rest of this video here, I want to go through the kinds of Bitcoin events coming up for the rest of this year, right? We just spent the first part of this video talking about what everybody wants to know, which is Bitcoin price. And we just looked at the between now to the end of the year. But I want to look at the events, the Bitcoin events coming up over the next 10 months for the rest of the year that I would highly encourage you to check out and consider going to. Because what's going to happen is that right now, everybody in Bitcoin is your friend. They all love you. We're all on this mission together. We all are going through the same events. But what's going to happen is 2 years or 5 years from now, most of the people that are new to Bitcoin won't have even a tenth of the amount of Bitcoin that you have. They won't have gone through any of the challenges and opportunities that you've gone through being in Bitcoin much earlier than them. And you won't be able to relate in those kinds of ways. And also, there's other factors too. People become paranoid. People become afraid that other people in their life are just trying to take money from them, just trying to do those things, right? And so if you're somebody that wants to make friends in Bitcoin, like, now is kind of the best time. You can always make friends in Bitcoin. You're never too late to make friends, but it's going to be a lot harder because for every high signal friend you're going to meet in Bitcoin that has a similar aligned worldview to you, there are going to be a bunch more people that are involved because of the price. And I can tell you, if this chart does unfold, I can tell you, if we do hit that box at the end of the year here in 2025, way more people in Bitcoin are going to be in Bitcoin for the number go up alone. They're going to be in Bitcoin for the price alone. But if you're watching this, you're probably not only in Bitcoin for price alone. And so that's why I want to go through this series of events here that are going to be with like-minded, vetted individuals who also have the same kind of worldview and the same kind of mission, motivation, and passion that you do, not people that are only in Bitcoin for price alone. So if you have any interest in the following events coming up here, highly encourage you to reach out and text me. Some of these events literally have less than 24 hours until ticket prices rise. So I strongly encourage you to spend the rest of the time watching this video and hear me out, right? There's my phone number. You can text me, send me your name, email, what event you're looking to go to, and any background questions or story you have, right? So let's talk about the first event coming up here. Bitcoin and Bullets, February 27th here in New Hudson, Michigan, which is why I'm in a hotel right now. I'm on my way to that event currently. It's going to be a pretty fun one, pretty small one. But if you're somebody in Michigan, even if you're, maybe, in Canada or Ohio, if you're nearby, it's not too far from Detroit. If you want to come out and you want to shoot some guns with fellow Bitcoiners and you're in the Michigan area, highly encourage you to come out on Saturday, March 1st, which is literally tomorrow. I can't believe it's almost March, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. We're going to be shooting a bunch of guns, hanging out with people, talking about sovereignty, talking about money. It's only $20, and that's just to cover your cost for it. We're not making any money from it. We're just offering this to Bitcoiners in the area. I know that organizers of this event, I think it's going to be a pretty good time. I think you will enjoy it. But let's say you're not in Michigan. Let's say you're somewhere that's a bit warmer than we are right now, that doesn't have all the snow and ice outside, right? Let's say you're in Texas. Let's say you're down in Texas. In Dallas, Texas, in early April 5th is the day I'll be speaking. There is Bit Block Boom. I highly encourage you to go to this conference. I've not been there before, but I have very good friends that highly recommend this conference. There's a great speaker lineup. You have Parker Lewis, James Lavish, Stefan Livera, Marty Bitstein, Dante Cook, Burnett, Lee Burstow, Guy Swan, myself, and Gary Leland, as well as a bunch of guest appearances, including my friends Lawrence Lepard, Dennis Porter, Nico, and a few others that I recognize as well. So it's going to be a really good time, really fun event. A lot of people I really respect, really respect Dante and Bob and James, and the people I know really well. And highly encourage you to check that out if you want information on how to get tickets to that event. And if you want to grab dinner with me, hang out, or whatever outside of the event as well, give me a text, reach out, let me know you're going to that. Would love to organize something and find a time we could snag a lunch and dinner and hang out with fellow Bitcoiners that are like-minded and that have the same passion that you do, right? So if April is too soon to plan, there's another option. Immediately after the Bitcoin Vegas conference, May 29th to June 2nd, the Bitcoin Magazine conference in Las Vegas ends on Thursday, May 29th. That evening, over the course of the next 4 days, there was a special event coming up with a lot of really good friends of mine. About 18 or 20 people or so is what we're looking at right now. Probably a couple more people will sign up at the last moment, but what we're looking at is Zion National Park. We have one of the top 50 rated resorts, according to National Geographic, rented and reserved for the mouth of Zion National Park. So if you're somebody that likes the outdoors, you don't want to hang out in another conference room talking about Bitcoin, if you want to like actually go out, touch grass, breathe the air, and hike, see new things, explore, and make memories with fellow Bitcoiners, I think that's going to be a really good time. I've been to Zion Park before. It is beautiful. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's going to be a great few days of memories where you get to hang out with, a couple dozen fellow Bitcoiners that are in this for the mission and, chat, explore, live life. So if you're anywhere in the Southwest United States, Arizona, Utah, California, Nevada, whatever, and especially if you're going to the Bitcoin Magazine conference, highly encourage you to check out Bitcoin Zion 2025. That's going to be really fun. I'm a big outdoors kind of person. I like that kind of stuff. Give me a text. Happy to give you the information on how to join the group. So if that doesn't work and you want something a bit more expensive and lavish, there is Bitcoin Prague in 2025. One of my favorite conferences in all of Bitcoin is the BTC Prague conference. This is the final 24 hours for VIP tickets at this price for the conference, okay? Let me say it again. You have less than 24 hours to lock in your tickets for VIP access to Prague, okay? It's one of the best values in all the Bitcoin conferences out there. You get to meet so many awesome people for a very affordable price. I loved hanging out with everyone that was there last time. Adam Back, Michael Saylor, Jack Mahlers, Jimmy Song, Stefan Laveria was there, Bob Burnett, of course, was there, Eric Weiss. This is the best time to meet Bitcoin speakers and all of Bitcoin. The Bitcoin Prague conference is really well put together. Awesome events, awesome speakers, awesome side events. And what I'm hosting as a side event to the Bitcoin Prague conference is this kind of retreat immediately before or after the conference, depending on what your preference is. June 19th to 21st is the conference in Prague. Okay, we're looking at, we already have rented a 3-story luxury penthouse in the main old town area for Prague. An absolutely beautiful place that somewhere between 10 to 15 people will be joining us. It is absolutely gorgeous. This is the view. We have 3 different patios, 3 different terraces. This is one of them. We have a hot tub. We have all kinds of luxury, pool table, place to hang out. We're going to have a private chef. It's going to be an awesome time to hang out at the end of each conference day, as well as to spend a couple days with new friends that you have made, exploring the city, exploring Prague. It's going to be a really great time, planning some awesome, unique activities as well. High luxury, high-end stay. This is definitely on the higher end of the budget of if you're looking to do a Bitcoin conference. This is definitely one of the most expensive conferences you can do. But for the value you're getting, highly recommend it. It's a really good time. You're going to make friends. You're going to be able to talk to speakers and have really good food. If you have any interest in that, please reach out immediately because you have less than 24 hours before they raise the ticket prices. And also, I should mention, I've got 3 or 4 spots left. So almost all the spots for that are taken. The last few ones I fully expect to be claimed either after this video or a video soon after it. Now, if that doesn't work and you want something on the lower end of the budget, there's something I think really awesome coming up, which is Lake Satoshi, also here in Michigan. Really awesome event. If you're somebody that has a wife, has a spouse, kids, family, whatever, you're trying to help them understand Bitcoin, but at the same time, you don't want to leave and just hop around the country to all these Bitcoin conferences. This is an awesome event. Even if you drive from out of state, plenty of people do. People will fly in from out of country to come to this event. Okay, it's really underrated. Lake Satoshi, it's a 1-day Bitcoin family-friendly event north of Lansing here in Michigan. Here's what that event looks like. Here's the website. It's a lake of a good friend of mine, Mike Smith, who's here just north of Lansing in Michigan. Super cheap tickets. He's not making any money from this. He's just offering it. You get to jet ski on the lake. There are boats on the lake. You can fish. You can ride ATVs around. You can hike. It's just a really laid back barbecue, family friendly kind of event. You can bring your family, you can bring your parents, your spouse, your kids, whatever, and just hang out. It's a really good time. There are beekeepers there. There's all kinds of nature stuff to see. It's a really, really good time. Highly recommend it. This will be my third year this year going, and highly recommend you check it out if you're anywhere in the Midwest United States and you want a family-friendly Bitcoin event to go to. That is, I believe, August. What date is it? August 2nd, 2025. There we go. August 2nd, 2025 is Lake Satoshi this year. And the days immediately preceding it are what is called Camp Satoshi. So the first 3 to 5 days in front, right before Lake Satoshi, is going to be an educational retreat and hangout with myself and a couple other Bitcoin speakers there, just hanging out, a much smaller event, right? Lake Satoshi is probably going to have 100 people, 200 people or so. Camp Satoshi is just something for about a dozen or so people. They're showing up early. They want to talk, want to learn stuff. We're going to do multi-sig tutorials. We're going to learn about how Bitcoin blockchain works. We're going to learn about how mining works. It's just going to be a fun hangout every single day. We'll be able to go up to the lake, hang out, drink beer, share stories, and whatever, get to know the other speakers coming. So those are really budget-friendly, family-friendly kinds of events. Highly recommend you check that out. Now, something that's also family-friendly, a little more expensive, but definitely highly worth it, is Camp Nakamoto, okay? This event, I'm one of the organizers for. We've got so much awesome stuff planned. A lot of it I can't share yet. We're not sharing yet with the public, but it's going to be really fun. It's going to be really, really awesome. How awesome. We are literally renting a private island that we all are going to hang out, right? Lake Winnipesaukee in New Hampshire is one of the most beautiful places to be in the entire United States in peak fall color in October, which is precisely when they're doing this. October 10th to October 13th, 2025. This is the island you see in the picture here. We have the whole island rented. It's going to be a very intimate, very fun group of a bunch of high quality, high signal Bitcoiners. On this island, we have lots of events planned. You can learn all about the events we have planned. This is our guest list currently for the island: Natalie Brunell, Mark Moss, Larry Lepard, James Lavish, myself, of course, Joe Consorti, Adam O'Brien, BJ Dichter, Dave Foley, Michelle Weekly, Texas Slim, DJ Valerie Anders, Matthew Liziak, Tim Kotzman, and we have special guests, which I can't announce yet, but if that guest list alone doesn't get you excited, I don't know what to tell you. We have a lot more exciting things to announce when it comes to that event. So it's going to be a 3-day event. Feel free to bring your family, bring your loved ones. You have the opportunity to camp on the island if you want, or there are log cabins you can rent on the island if you want, or you can rent a hotel room on the mainland and take a ferry to the island every single day. So no matter if you're somebody that wants to get out in the woods or if you're somebody that likes the creature comforts of home, either way, you have the ability to show up to Camp Nakamoto and hang out with all the speakers for multiple days. And really, that's what we're trying to do. Bitcoin conferences are great, but they're really big, have a lot of people, and it's go, go, go all the time. These are the kinds of events I'm going to because you're able to slow down and you're actually able to meet these people. Instead of shaking their hand for 5 seconds at a book signing, you get to actually hang out for an entire day or an entire evening with some people that you really respect and want to learn from and just make friends with. So again, this is the guest list for Camp Nakamoto. The ticket prices for this event are going to be rising very soon. We're going to be adding more guests. And so, of course, as we add more guest speakers and announce those over time, that's when we'll begin to increase the ticket prices for the event. But again, the main motivation from this event is not making money. In fact, the first about 20 tickets or so we sold for this event, we sold at a loss because we wanted to give everybody a chance to join us on the island. So we actually took a loss initially to sell those tickets. But now, of course, it's getting a lot more interest. A lot more people are picking up the excitement. And I think the FOMO for this event is going to be probably the largest FOMO of the entire year. Really, really awesome event with, just 80, 100 people or so. So that was Camp Nakamoto, October 18th to 13th. That's in New Hampshire. And like I said, the ticket prices rise soon. If you want a ticket to any of these events, Camp Nakamoto or otherwise, give me a text. Let me know which one you want to join. I'll give you the discount codes. I'll give you all the info you need to answer your questions. Make sure you feel comfortable going to them. Happy to help out. Happy to have that conversation. Now, as we wrap up to the end of the year, right? Looking forward to the end of the year, probably Bitcoin's going to be even more exciting, right? Over here in October is Camp Nakamoto. During the summer is, Prague and, Camp Satoshi and Lake Satoshi. But at the end here, at the very end of the year, where we're probably going to have some sort of very exciting period for Bitcoin price in November and December, we have two awesome events to wrap up the year here. One of them is El Salvador's Bitcoin Boot Camp. This was an awesome 4-day event. We had a dozen people at the end of last year, where we all went to the Adopting Bitcoin conference in San Salvador, the capital of El Salvador. And we had a beachfront property, surfed every day. We released baby sea turtles. We had really wonderful food from a private chef, and we had awesome, awesome time. Hours of sessions I hosted, as well as having 4 different guest speakers come in to speak. So if you want to go to El Salvador, if you've been looking for an excuse to get to El Salvador, highly recommend you check out Bitcoin Bootcamp in November 2025. November is the best time of the year to go because you don't want to go in the summer when it is blistering hot, right? November, end of the year, is the best time to go. It's probably too late to go to El Salvador this year besides November because it's going to start getting really hot really soon as the winter ends. But if you want to go to El Salvador, but you're nervous about going to a foreign country, maybe you don't quite speak Spanish, you don't want to go alone, blah, blah, blah. This is your excuse to go to El Salvador. All your logistics are covered. It's a really fun time. Everybody that went last year had nothing but positive reviews. So highly encourage you to check that out. If you want to go to El Salvador, Bitcoin country, at the end of this year, probably near the Bitcoin full cycle top in November of 2025. And then the final one, which I will wrap up this video with, is some sort of Costa Rican retreat that's likely to occur either in November 2025 or January 2026. The details for this one are the most fuzzy, of course, because it's the farthest out in the future. But what I can say is we are very likely going to have special jungle tree houses, and we are very likely to have special mountain views. Here are some pictures of the kinds of views you can expect to see in Costa Rica. Of course, you're going to see lots of other cool stuff too. I was there just last week, saw all kinds of wonderful sea creatures, all kinds of parrots, monkeys, sloths, lizards, all the things that you've seen in the pamphlets and the movies and the documentaries. Lots of cool critters, lots of cool animals. We're going to places hosted by Bitcoiners for Bitcoiners. So if you want to hang out, you want to chat Bitcoin, you want to see beautiful views, see exotic creatures you can't see literally anywhere else on the planet, this is the place to go. And this is when we're doing it, late this year in 2025 or early 2026 next year. A pool, hot tub with overlooking views, lots of really, really great space and time to have these conversations. Ultimately, the goal with all these is not necessarily to make money. It's just to enjoy life, make friends, because ultimately it's a very short window. It's a very brief period of time. You're not too late to Bitcoin. You can be too late to Bitcoin at certain prices, right? You were too late to Bitcoin to buy it at $100, and you're too late to Bitcoin to buy it at $10,000. But you're not too late to buy Bitcoin at $70,000 or $80,000. And pretty soon you are going to be too late. So I would encourage you, keep stacking, keep buying, get off zero if you're still on zero. And ultimately, if you are somebody that is deep down the rabbit hole already, that you want to make friends in Bitcoin, but you're just looking for the place or the time or the excuse to do it, I think these retreats are going to be the best ROI on your dollar and the best ROI on your time. You're going to make the most friends, you're going to have the most memories, the most experiences, and ironically, you're probably going to learn the most too. So if you have any interest in all those events or any of those events, give me a text, reach out, we'll have a conversation, we'll set you up with one of those events, and we'll be able to talk, you and me, we'll be able to talk about which event maybe suits what your actual goals and desires are. But ultimately, this is one of your final chances to sign up because pretty soon, the fear that we're feeling right now with Bitcoin crashing is going to be gone. The FOMO will be back, and all these events will be booked solid for the rest of the year. So take advantage of this dip, buy as heavy as you can up to your allocation tolerance, and also secure your spot for some Bitcoin event later this year if you want to go to one, because pretty soon the prices and tickets for all those are going to go up, in Prague's case, literally tomorrow, and they're only going to get more and more excitement throughout the year as number continues to go up. Thank you for your time. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.